There is actually a ton of nudity, and honestly some really fucking curse shit mixed in all of this stuff. In particular, one image involving breast milk and a bath comes to mind, and I guess I'll just let you use your imagination to fill in the rest of the details. Truly, some of the worst, weird DeviantArt fetish material out there. But anywho, for a long time, Dobson tried to keep this part of the online persona in history hidden away from the far more professional Tom Preston page. But the thing is, he was pretty popular under his porn moniker and pages, and his art style was pretty damn similar. In fact, because he had never really taken the time to expand his art style or try something different, it became pretty easy once people knew of both of them existing at the same time to put two and two together. And when they did, boy oh boy did people mock him all for it. Something which he commented about in at least 2 journals via his DeviantArt page, as he was getting droves and droves of comments about the topic on all his pieces, new and old, as well as it eventually being featured prominently on his Encyclopedia Dramatica page for everyone to see, something which we'll come back to again shortly. But for now, here are the 2 journals he wrote on the topic. Quote, "While I could have sworn that I already explained this publicly numerous times, with the recent insurgence of trolling I've been getting, it probably wouldn't hurt to publicly announce it yet again. I was a very prolific fetish artist for about 2 to 3 years after college. Heaven forbid. Honestly, by DeviantArt standards, my stuff was pretty damn tame. I don't think I did anything ever that went beyond an R rating. Heck, I watch artists who occasionally draw stuff far more sexually explicit than I ever did. I try to keep my accounts separate, but as it's become clear with the internet, that just wasn't gonna happen. People started to find out, and I was embarrassed, rightly so, thinking that I had kept it secret. While under the other account, I pissed off a number of people who I shouldn't have, and for the past 5 years now, I've been trolled pretty much every day and night from people who fed off my fear of being found out. I kept it secret for as long as possible, but recently I just gave up and decided to come clean and admit it. I had removed from the internet pretty much everything I did when I was using the other name, but some pictures just couldn't be removed, or were saved on people's hard drives, or were reposted to places like 4chan, where naturally, it took on a life of its own. Right now it's happening again, as someone on DeviantArt created a fake name, is posing as me, and is reposting all my old fetishy pieces which have been floating around the internet limbo, with links to my Tom Preston account for good measure. Since I no longer have my old account, I deleted it from DeviantArt, nor have the artwork up anywhere that I have any control over it, there's not really much that I can do. So yeah, if you see anyone posting links to a Caddy In account, please just ignore it. And to those people who keep sending links to my fans or posting on my front page, just a heads up, but I'm probably gonna block you. It's not out of cowardice or fear, but because you're obviously just doing it to troll, and it's pretty stupid and pointless. And I don't need that shit cluttering my inbox. I get enough of that every day as it is." Unquote. Then, in part 2, he said the following. Quote, "Seems a lot of my journals are coming in parts lately. I need to ask that my fans do their best to not troll the trolls. In other words, don't give them the attention that they're seeking by going to their page and badmouthing them. Since this whole trolling thing is already out in the open, I should probably explain another aspect of it. I've become a meme. This is how it works. As soon as I post a new So You're a Cartoonist comic, someone then takes it and re-edits it to show how much I suck, then reposts it somewhere for the lulz, usually on 4chan's /co section. It's not a new thing and has been going on pretty much as long as So You're a Cartoonist has existed. Numerous troll accounts have been created on DeviantArt to repost these comics, and every single time these accounts have been deleted or the works removed because DeviantArt has clear violation policies against reposting other people's artwork. This Rusty person isn't the first to do it. It's just more apparent now because of my last journal. More often than not, my fans have been extremely vigilant in reporting these things before I even find out about them. Half the time, I get a note in my inbox saying, "This guy is saying bad things about you," When I go check it out, the account is deleted. So I'd like to thank my fans for that. You guys are awesome. The best thing you can do if you come across things like this is to just silently report it and move on. Don't comment on their page. Don't comment on their art. And above all else, don't tell them that you've reported it or try to threaten them. It's just gonna make things worse. Remember, these people are looking for a reaction. They want to provoke you. It also helps when you report to include a link to the original source as proof. DeviantArt mods can't do anything if they don't have enough information, and claiming that it's ripping something off isn't enough justification. And more people who report, the quicker it gets taken down. I'm aware that by posting these past couple journals is tantamount to me feeding the trolls, and I'm sorry about that. I hate internet drama, and I don't want to create more of it. But I fear that if I don't explain this now, someone might say or do something to escalate the trolling unintentionally. Please ignore the trolls if you can. Report them if they warrant it. Block anyone who tries to troll you. Don't talk to them. Go to their page. And please be safe, everyone. The last thing I want is this trolling crap spreading into your galleries or front pages simply because you stood up for me. Thank you all for your support, everyone. It's really great to hear so many positive responses. Unquote. I find these two journals pretty interesting, mostly because Dobson does seem to have a pretty good grasp of how to handle trolling, and that's by mostly just ignoring it. And yet, as we have seen thus far, he does just the opposite. And even after these two journals have been posted, in case you thought, well, maybe he came to his senses and decided to chill out, no, he would only start fighting people even more and more. He knows reactions is what they want. He knows that the probably best way he could win in all this is just by simply ignoring it, and yet he chooses not to. It's a real head-scratcher. That aside, if we go to his old Catty-N website, there are also several archives of old blog posts, where you can clearly see that even under his old fetish account, he had trouble with trolls and criticism as well. Furthermore, when people started to discover the connections, he tried to delete his history, but found it rather difficult. At one point, writing a huge fucking blog post in which he writes, "God, I feel like crying" as the opening part. Well, I don't have to go through the entire thing here. This basically can be summed up as, holy fuck, I accidentally wasn't able to delete all my stuff, and now a bunch of people have my art, and I don't know how to fix it. My real name was actually connected with some of those pieces, and so if people find out, it's going to ruin my current career, that kind of thing. This was kind of before it became super public knowledge. This is then followed up by this much shorter post, which reads, quote, "Despite how much I desperately need the money, I've taken down my art collection for sale because those assholes at 4chan just can't respect anything. They're trying to get someone who has my $30 collection and hoping that they'll post it on 4chan so they can get all my artwork for free." Here are some comments they've made about me, and people wonder why I'm such an asshole when it comes to copyright infringement. So, that talented asshole Catty-N has re-released all his works on a downloadable zip file for $30. Anybody downloaded and willing to share? Asshole. Yes. Talented? Debatable. I certainly wouldn't pay unless it's got a whole shitload of new stuff, then it's not worth it. It has things he's never put on the interwebs before. So yeah, till further notice, my collection is down. Fucking assholes are. Unquote. Also, funnily enough, he was even getting harassment and trolling from his own then girlfriend, as noted in this post from around the same point in time. Quote, "Honestly, inflate? I don't know. We're kinda at a point where we just don't talk about it. I don't say anything, so she doesn't either. She knows I come to the internet and I have a lot of friends in those circles, but we never really talk about it. Every now and then a movie might come up with some inflation in it, such as Harry Potter 3, and she'll look over at me and cock an eyebrow as if to say, 'This is what turns you on?' But that's about it. Other times, however, she's kinda encouraging and disencouraging at the same time. She knows that sex sells and that I could make a lot of money off of working on commissions, making inflation-related material. And since we're so poor right now, that's always tempting. But then she doesn't give me the time to do it, and she doesn't like it. So it makes me nervous to even consider working on it when she's around. I really wish it was just acceptance. Just her saying, 'I understand it's weird and it's okay. I personally don't like it, but that's okay if you're turned on by it.' But instead, it usually devolves to conversations about what the roots word to my becoming an inflation fan. Almost like she's trying to disrespect my brain and find out what caused my abnormality so it can be psychologically repaired as if it were a mental illness. It's a little natural for her to be diagnosing me like that, given her own personal history, but she doesn't accept the "I don't know, I just do" answer. There has to be a logical reason for it, and that's kind of what's barring us from being able to agree on something. I love her greatly and will never give her up, but not liking my sexual fetish is kind of hard to cope with sometimes. I can only hope that as time goes on, she becomes more understanding, unquote. However, as noted at some point, he also found that within the inflation community, people grew tired of him. And so yes, unironically, even when he is just making mindless porn, he still found a way to annoy people and managed to make them tire of him. Like, how the fuck do you even do that? It's even weirder too, and something I really never see people bring up about this account is that beyond the website and his DeviantArt page, Dobson also had a Gaia Online page under this fetish artist moniker. Now, for those unfamiliar with Gaia Online, it was a browser-based MMO/social space. Think something similar to Neopets, but way more advanced and focused more on fashion and avatar creation, along with several games, most of which don't really work anymore these days, sadly. Anyway, the reason this is significant is back in the day, the main user base of the site was, as you might imagine, teens and kids. And anyone who knows anything about the site will tell you that it's kind of an open secret that there was a lot of people who were trying to groom children actively as it was going on. Just as any other social media or game where kids are kind of able to just play and have fun, predators found their way onto the site when they realized that its user base was mostly kid and teen girls. Fun fact, did you know Yandere Dev used to be a huge user of Gaia Online? Just thought I'd note that. But anywho, let me be clear, I'm not accusing Andrew Dobson of doing anything like that on the website, but he was actively advertising and discussing inflation porn fetish stuff on the site, where it was mainly kid and teen girls on the forums, which there is actual evidence for. And while there is not proof of this latter thing, he was more than likely also in the several game lobbies where there was active instant message chats where people talk to each other, and it's pretty likely he probably talked about his fetish stuff there too, though I cannot confirm this completely. I'm not saying Dobson is a child creeper, mostly because nothing said in the forums seems to indicate that he was trying to harm or groom anyone there, but I will say that this was grossly irresponsible, weird, and he should have never went on that site to talk about fetish stuff, period, considering who the main user base is. But anyway, just figured I'd point this out. That aside, Dobson also went on a rant about his feelings on anime on the Catty-N website. Again, while I won't read the whole thing here for you, essentially amounts to him discussing how he used to love anime and used to love going to video stores and building up his collection. He used to love it so much that he actually took possession of the anime club at his college. But somewhere along the line there, he started to hate anime, particularly because, in his words, he found that all of it was starting to seem the same. There is all the same stereotypes, there's too many panty shots for his liking, and it was just, yeah, not his cup of tea anymore at some point or another, until eventually he began to, in his words, loathe anime. The whole thing being a bit of an inner turmoil for him. Now some of you might be wondering, okay, so he doesn't like anime. What does that have to do with anything? Well, let me explain. See, Andrew, while he grew up loving anime, and clearly some of the anime he grew up with still very much influences his art style to this very day, that newfound hatred for anime also made him pretty famous in a few occasions, with one such example that I often see shared around when talking about Andrew Dobson is this piece, where I guess his Western characters beat up several popular anime characters.